Welcome back to Chosen to Change podcast. Last week we talked about my story and my childhood. Today we're going to talk about Josh's.
Yeah, I mean, this is the beginning of my life. I'm pretty excited. It's something that I hated for the longest time, but now I've finally fully embraced it. So I'm ready to get into it. You know, this is where we confront the pain, we build legacies, and we just move on.
Got you. So let's start off. What was it like growing up with your mom?
Well, my mom wasn't really around. My dad got full custody when I was 6, but my mom and dad split up when I was 2. I would see my mom off and on, you know. She was out doing her thing, living her life. And I was about 6, and you guys will never believe this, but I was actually on an Amber Alert, and I was on like the milk carton back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, so I went with my mom for one weekend, and my mom, there was all the stuff packed in the back, and she was like, "We're gonna go on a road trip," and I was like, "All right, cool. Where are we going?" And we landed up going to Amarillo. That's where I have a lot of family from.
Amarillo by morning.
Yep, we were Amarillo by morning.
What's crazy is I've seen people, like I remember growing up seeing kids on those milk cartons, and I was wondering like, who are they? I wonder, and then I was wondering like too, like did they find them? You know, because back then no social media, no media outlets, you didn't really know what the situation was, but you're like, nah, I might have a bad day, but at least I'm not on that box, you know. Bro. So pretty crazy.
Well, now
I know. Now I've met someone,
a milk carton kid.
You just checked off something of my childhood. I appreciate you.
But you know, yeah. So I mean, obviously it was nothing bad. She was just kind of like, "Hey, your dad don't want you no more. We're gonna start a new life, everything." And I was like, "Oh." Like, I didn't believe it because, I mean, I already knew my dad. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, I guess, like, this is what choice do I have? I'm 6 years old. I'm not going to walk back to Albuquerque. I lived in Amarillo for about 9 months, went to preschool out there.
Oh, so you stayed for a minute?
I stayed there. My dad didn't know where I was.
Wow. Were you going by a different name or did you?
No, I went by my name. I mean, I don't think my dad knew what city I was in. I mean, Amarillo kind of is the main point because that's where like my family's from. That's where I would have.
It was so different back then. Like,
yeah,
try that now and you'll get found through technology, cameras. You'll be found right away. That's crazy. I didn't know you stayed there.
Yeah, and so one day, I go to school and they call me to the office, and my dad was there, and I ran up to him. You know, Dad, like, dun, 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 dun. Yeah. And, you know, I'll never forget that hug that my dad gave me that day. Awesome. And I could only imagine what it's like to be separated from my kid for 9 months. And, like, me being a 6-year-old, I was like, I thought you didn't want me no more. Like, you know, and he was like, don't you ever think that. And, it took me back to Albuquerque. They landed up going to court. You know, obviously you can't take your kid across state lines. It's pretty serious. I didn't know that. And after that, my dad got full sole custody of me.
Let's go.
Dad raised me. But even though, like, in the midst of everything, my dad never once told me I couldn't go with my mom.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think it's just because my dad knew. My dad and his mom have a great relationship. So I think my dad understood how important that relationship is.
Was there a fear when you went back with your mom after being full custody with your father that you were like, she might take me? Like, or did you not go back knowing that might happen?
Well, yes, there was. And I actually had this conversation with my sisters. I have 3 little sisters. And like we talked about episode 1, we just started talking after 5 years. But with them, my mom was in such a bad space, like headspace, and, you know, she was involved with whatever she was involved with. I used to just go and check on them just to make sure that they were alive.
But I guess putting the audience back in the moment of you're back with your dad, you're 9 years old?
Oh, 7.
Okay, so you're back with your dad. Dad has full custody. Your mom remains in Amarillo, or she comes back?
No, she comes back.
Okay, so how long till you saw her again from being with your dad?
Honestly, I don't.
Was it like years, a couple months?
No, it was probably like a couple months, 6 months.
So how did that look when you went back? I mean, I would have had, even as a 7-year-old, I would have had anxiety, which I wouldn't have known what that was, but I would have been anxious knowing that my mom might run off with me all over again. Like, how did that organize? Or did you guys do it differently? Or
No, it was kind of the same thing. But honestly, I think just back then, like, I didn't have that opportunity, like, to process that. Because again, like, I like, as a person, I've always put myself second. And so my main focus was my sister.
So you didn't think she would take you again? Like she would run away with you?
It didn't matter. I just wanted to make sure my sisters were okay.
What about your dad? What do you?
Oh,
think,
I'm sure.
What do you think how did he secure the fact that you were going to go with her and not be gone again? Is there something he did? Did you guys go to like a remote place? Like I know they have like childcare places you can see your kids, and then like how was that structured after? There's no way that they're going to allow.
That's how it started.
Okay.
Right? Like we would go to a park.
Okay.
Half the time my mom would show up or she wouldn't, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah. And I mean, that was probably, again, like, that's probably the hardest thing as a 7-year-old. It's just like, why am I not good enough? Like,
that's what you're thinking.
Why can't you show up for me? You know what I mean? Like, and so it definitely started off structured. And then gradually, they took off the training wheels.
Good. And then you got older, right?
Yeah. And I think, obviously there was there were cell phones back then, but they were expensive as hell.
Yeah, they charge a lot per minute for sure.
Yeah, so
okay,
I think there was just a lot of trust there, which I don't know how my dad trusted him because I personally wouldn't. So as a parent.
So let's fast forward now to age, let's say 12 or 13, because that's a pretty influential years, and those middle school years, you kind of find your own ways and stuff. How did this situation make you grow up faster?
Well, it made me. I figure I was probably a parent, quote unquote parent, by the time I was 10 or 11.
That's crazy.
I was going over to my mom's on the weekend. Stayed over there in the North Valley. I would have to bathe my sisters, clean my sisters, cook for my sisters while they were there, you know. And I finally got to say, it's like, I'm not the kind of person that's really like, well, I did this for you and I did this for you and I did that, you know what I mean? So whenever we rekindled, I actually told him, like, hey, like, understand, like, I loved you, like, I love you guys so much. This is like, I didn't have to go through this. My dad had a great job. My stepmom had an even better job.
Yeah,
I did this because I loved you guys and because I cared for you guys. And so I definitely had to grow up quick. I had to learn a lot real fast. From what my dad has told me and my sister, I used to come back from my mom's and I would cry for 2 days that my bones were hurting, my body was hurting. I was having, really, you think about it, I was having withdrawals at 9-10 years old from heroin because they used to smoke it in the bathroom. They used to, you know what I mean? Like, so now I don't remember none of those. Like, I don't remember that feeling. I don't remember that.
Probably a great thing, right?
In my mind, it's the way that the Lord has, that's why I'm chosen to change. He has blocked that out of my subconscious to even chase that again. And to really just grow, you know what I mean? Like be the person I need to be.
I think even, a little bit on my own, I remember I was full time with my mom, but I'd see my dad on the weekends, and the emotions you go through when you are between two households, it's so many things go through your mind as a kid that you don't know what they are. But I remember when I'd go with my dad like on a Friday and loved my dad, loved being with my dad. But the first like 2 hours, I'd cry and my mom would drop me off because I missed my mom because that was my norm. And then I'd go with my dad. First 2 hours, I just wasn't in a good mood. I was crying. I was kind of restless. But then I would my dad's like, dude, chill, like open up. Like we're going to go hang out, do stuff. And I love being with my dad. After a couple hours, we were good. I had a blast. But then it's time to go back to my mom's. And now I miss my dad. My mom like, well, do you want to live with your dad? I'm like, well, hold on now. Like, I didn't say that.
Time out.
And it's not that I didn't want to live with him. It's just I had a comfortable life. My mom gave me the freedom of everything. So I loved the freedom. So I wasn't going to give that up. My dad was a little more structured in his household. He was married. They gave me responsibilities where my mom just told me what to do. Didn't mean I had to do them at a certain time. So what I'm getting at is going from one parent to the other. You cry when you leave, you cry when you get there, then you cry to leave again. And then it's every other week, or in some cases it's every week. And like you said, my dad, sometimes maybe in his life he chose to go out of town or to do something and I couldn't go with him that weekend. Well, what do you think my mom would say? She wouldn't vouch for him. Oh, your dad didn't want to see you this weekend, so guess what? And I'm like, dang, Pops didn't want to see me? Like, okay. And then and then on his end, he would be like, you should come live with me. Like, oh, we'll make sure.
It's just that constant.
And they weren't doing it maliciously, but the words that they were using to influence where I should stay longer, because they both enjoyed my company, they would almost use each other to be the favored parent instead of having.
It's a chess game, right? And you're the pawn going back and forth.
Right.
And it's like, and as a kid, you don't understand it.
No.
You know what I mean, like, I didn't understand that as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like my mom saying, "Your dad doesn't want you ever again," And then I see my dad, and he's just, sobbing. That's probably
Right.
That was the first time I've ever seen my dad cry. I've only seen my dad cry probably 3 times.
And that was one of them?
That was one of them, and I just, as a parent, like, I couldn't.
Well, do you think that the relationship that my parents and your parents had didn't end in the greatest of terms? So for them, that was them kind of healing and dealing with the failed relationship and then pawning that off on their kids. It is
100%.
right.
100%.
So, and my parents never admitted it, and I don't think they would have wanted to stay together, but maybe there was something there, like, maybe if I'd have tried harder, maybe if I would have done this different, we could have stayed together.
Yeah.
Had 7-day custody full and had our son together. I didn't have brothers and sisters. I was the only child. So it was just, I was the only possession that they had to manipulate and pawn me around. And I wish I would have had a brother or sister, because we could have been in this mix together. I would have had someone to fall on.
I didn't have no real, and I hate to say real brothers and sisters. Like, I have half brothers and sisters.
I see what you're saying.
So from both sides, like, I was pretty alone myself. You know what I mean? I didn't share nothing in common with
But which we normally don't. But I think being dropped off together would have been,
or at least, hey,
something.
Like, I got us, or you know what I mean, like, we got each other.
Yeah.
I think that is ultimately the thing. But yeah, that was kind of my childhood in a nutshell.
So the last one, I added that question, so I kind of winged that one. But the last question that I have is, how does that bond feel now compared to before?
With who, my dad or my mom?
However you want to say. I guess you know what? Let's stick to your mom, because I think that's what the thing that kind of every time, the underlining issue when I talk to you, it's always reference to your mom and not your dad. So let's stick to that.
So me and my mom don't have a relationship at all. Which is pretty unfortunate, because I think every boy wants to be a mama's boy, right? Every boy wants their mom. And that's probably the hardest thing for me, or that was the hardest thing for me growing up, was because I just always wanted my mom. Like, it didn't matter what space my mom was in. It didn't matter if she was completely tore back or if she was sober. Like, I just wanted that love and that hug from my mom, but I also knew my mom, as being sober, she will give you the clothes off her back. She's the most beautiful woman in the world. She used to look like Selena, drop dead gorgeous, and just like, but the heart she has is a heart of gold.
She had the heart of the manager, Selena's manager.
Yeah.
When she drank, she acted like Selena's manager, but she was sober.
Bro,
it was Selena.
So whenever she drank, that, like, when my mom is high, she's kind of mellow and chill. When she drinks, bro, like you talk about evil comes out, and she just pops off stuff out the mouth, and then she's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that." I'm like, "No, you did." Like that comes out. You know what I mean? Like,
I've been there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
The truth comes out. The
if
truth comes out
very quick, and witty, and
I mean, I've learned not to have no ill will towards mom. So, like, everyone don't think like I hate my mom. I really learned to move past that. I've learned to forgive my mom, and I'm sure we'll get into that here now in a little bit. I've learned to forgive her, but to also empathize. Like, I can empathize with her, because my mom and her mom, my mom's her. You know what I mean? My grandma, it was the same way with her. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's why we talk about curse breakers. Somebody in the family has to be the one that breaks the curse, because when we all talk about all the issues that we've faced, and then our parents faced, and then they face it with their parents, where does it stop? Who's the one that's going to say it ends with me? It ends with me, and from this day on, we're not going to carry on this bad legacy, because legacies can be good and bad. Everybody thinks that legacies means it's a good thing.
Yeah, no.
Hey, my name's a legacy. Your name could be tainted. Your reputation, your family's, it could be a bad one. So more of the one GM, right? And that's why I live by that, because that's me. We're breaking the curse. We're breaking the curse of how everyone's dealt with stuff. So
100%.
I'm going to get into the next segment here. That was good. I learned a lot more about you than I've ever known. So appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get into family reconnection. Can you talk about your sister, your relationship, the distance, healing, and reconnecting?
So like I mentioned earlier, so I have 4 sisters and 1 brother. The ones on my dad, we've always stayed close. Talk with them quite often. My sisters that are on my mom's side, man, growing up, like we were close. Like I would go every weekend because my grandma ended up getting custody of my sisters.
Oh, nice.
I would go to my grandma's every weekend, and me and my older 2 little sisters, we would just bullshit all day long. You know, at that time I was whipping a little Honda, 5-speed manual.
Let's go.
They called it the mood car, the moo car, because it was that primer spots all over it.
Nice.
But I would whip it everywhere. We would go to the Mercado, go get, chips and drinks, and just laugh. Like, it was definitely one of the greatest times. And then my sisters kind of got involved whenever me and my mom had a fall out after my wedding. One of my sisters was there. And after that day, like, I just knew change had to happen. Like, one, I acted out of anger. Like, my mom got the best of me, right? Like, I acted out of anger. She brought it out of me. Yeah. And I remember just my son, he called me out because he used to hit my oldest little daughter.
Yeah.
And he was like, Dad, I thought you said never to hit your sisters or never to hit girls. And I was just like, I had to sit in that.
What does that? I'm sorry. So that means you physically hit your mom, your sister?
My mom.
After your wedding?
No. After my wedding, whenever this fight broke. So I guess let me get into.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. No,
I want to make sure some clarity there for me.
So after my wedding, my car broke down.
Damn.
Yeah. My mom had to go get my kids. It was
the same day?
Huh?
The day of your wedding?
No.
Okay.
This was 3 weeks after my wedding.
Okay.
She had to go get my kids, whatever, my mom called, hey, can I take the kids to open house? My wife just said no, because we live 30 minutes away from school. By the time they get out, they're not going to get home till 9:30.
She was being a mom.
Yeah, like my wife is very, very involved in the kids' school, as she should be. That's why she stayed home. And my mom just kind of went off, like, fuck you, calling her out of her name. And I remember driving to her house, and my wife's like, hey, go pick up the kids, because, like, I don't want to deal with your mom. I don't want to fight, right? Like, I'm trying to keep the peace for you, because I know how much you want your mom. And I remember just driving, bro, and I was just like, we could figure this out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be like this. Let's figure it out. Just pick up the kids, dip. We'll talk about it later. Pick up the kids. And the first thing, my mom's not there. So I was like, or she's there, but they have her in the back room. So I was like, all right, let's pick her up. Everything's going to plan. My mom pops out. Boom, door slams open.
Like Stone Cold just goes out the
Yeah. And she's like, the only thing I ask of you is just don't keep my grandkids from me. And I looked at her and told her, what is that teaching my kids? That it's okay to call their mom every name in the book, disrespect their mom. Like, I can't, like, I'm sorry, but at this moment in time, like, I can't do that. I was like, now, I'm not saying never, but right now at this moment in time, no. Like, we need to sit down. We need to have a conversation. And at that moment, my mom got in my face, and I mean, like, in my face. And, like, I kind of separated, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I told her, like, back up. Like, you don't have that respect to get in my face. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't earn that, right? Like, my dad, and she's like, well, if your dad told you to sit down and shut the fuck up, you're going to sit down and shut the fuck up. Yeah, you're right. My dad raised me. My dad sacrificed for me. My dad was there, you know what I mean? And as that happens, everything kind of everything whirlwinds. My mom pulls out some brass knuckles.
For real?
Yeah, she comes at me. I push her. And then my sister was a bystander, unfortunately.
She got snook.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh man.
And-
Sorry, sister. I'm not laughing at you.
yeah, and then the moment I waited for my whole life was my mom's husband.
Yeah, he got to take the. He got to take.
Yeah, well, he's the one that got her hooked on dope.
Oh, yeah.
And so I hated him as a kid.
Yeah,
He came out and he was like, "Oh, well, like, what's going on?" And I was like, come on, fucker, come on, bro. I hit him with a 2-piece, and you know, Mexicans have like those porcelain benches where it's like, they're like stone benches and like tables.
From Santa Fe, bro. I never seen that.
Well, he ended up getting dropped on one of those. And then, so like, I'm like, shit, we gotta go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I finally like snap, and I'm like, oh shit, like we got like, oh, my kids were crying in the car. That's what got me. And I was like, oh damn, like,
Yeah.
I screwed up. And so I'm like, I get in the car, and the first thing my son tells me, he was in 5th grade at the time, I thought you said never to put your hands on your sisters or girls.
Tell you, well, sister got snook.
Well, and I had to sit there in it, and I was like, you know what, son? And I think this was the first time my son ever heard me admit I was wrong. I said, you know what? Sometimes things happen, son. Like, I'm not proud of it, but you know, I was like, but as a man, you got to own up to your mistakes, and you gotta live in it, you know?
Yeah.
I told him, now I'm not saying what I did was right. Like that's not what I'm saying. I told him, but, and he just sat kind of quiet. Like, you could see the disappointment, you know what I mean? Like, that was probably the first time, like, myself as his father disappointed him. And like, for a while, he just kind of sat in it.
Well, I mean, now that I hear everything fully, I definitely understand a lot more and see why. I think in that moment, your kids were rattled, unsure what's going on, a lot of yelling, a lot of shouting, some physical stuff happened. That was probably 10 minutes, but it probably felt like an hour.
Oh,
but
an eternity.
That moment is what rattled everybody. So I'm going to assume that happened. Now there's a distance between you and mom. Sisters take mom's side. One, her husband got hit. You left the situation. It probably looked like you were in the wrong for everything.
For sure.
If I was a cop, or if I was a neighbor and walked in, yeah, Josh hit him, he hit her, I'd been like, oh man, Josh really went off the rails on this one. Yeah. So here we are. We get to that point. You don't talk to your mom. Your sisters take her side.
So yes, essentially how it happened. So I remember calling my mom that night just to apologize. Like, and the first thing came out of my mom's mouth was, "Fuck you, you're a pussy. You're this, that."
It's too soon.
And at that moment, I was like, all right, I need to separate myself.
Yeah.
That was the moment where I was like, it's time to just push back and to focus on me.
Yeah.
And again, I reached out to my sister. Or first, I reached out on my way home. I reached out to my girlfriend, my sister's boyfriend, my sister's boyfriend. And I was like, hey, like, this is what happened. Like, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, if you got to come over to my apartment, like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, she's pregnant. I get it. Like, you know, we could figure it out.
Wait, pregnant sister got snuck.
Yeah.
That would have been a wild.
It was crazy.
But the thing is that, you know what, unfortunately, as crazy as that is, that's happened. That's a norm for a lot of
families, bro. A lot of families.
Unfortunately,
but again, I landed up. I landed up going to counseling from it all.
Well, let's talk about the reconnection though, because we have the incident. We have the words that were said. That's probably what you said to her, what she said to you, stayed in each other's minds. There's hate. You can apologize for stuff when you mess up, but when you apologize fast, people know that you're doing it because you're trying to heal your mistake,
or you're trying to
versus like you apologize because you really mean it to somebody. I know by example. So let's get to the point where you now are reconnecting with your sisters. What made the reconnection possible? And then on the second question, do you feel like you guys both had to grow before you guys could reconnect? So roll into that. However.
So my sister, that specific sister, but believe it or not, that's the one that reached out the most. Now I wasn't in a place or time. I was still in my healing journey. I didn't, it reminded me of my mom. I didn't want to be in it, and I didn't know how to tell them without it sounding mean, Yeah. So I would just kind of ignore it. And finally, on her birthday, Christmas Eve, she reached out to me this year. And I remember the last thing I ever wrote them was, one day when you guys have kids, you have a family, you will understand why. You understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I told them, you guys don't get it right now. I completely understand that. Fast forward 5 years later, we haven't really talked much. My sister reaches out, and at that, like, it was already on my mind. Like, I miss my sisters. Incredible. Like, they're missing so much in my kid's life. If my sisters are ever one thing, they're great aunties. Great aunties. Great aunties. They would do anything. They pick up, you know what I mean? They were amazing. They're all that I could ask for.
Good.
So finally, Christmas Eve, my sister reached out to me. Hey, you know, I miss you. I just want to let you know I'm pregnant with my second child. You've only met your nephew one time. Like, you know, he wants cousins, you know, like, let's really, if you're up to it, let's really get together. And at that moment, like, I was finally starting to just come to grasp with everything. And, we met after the holidays. We sat at, Cheddar's for 2 hours, and we just talked.
Good.
We cried. I cried. She cried. But at that moment, I never told them why. They knew I was around at mom's, but they didn't want to know why I was around at mom's. And for the first time, I got to tell them, like, hey, like, this is what I went through just to make sure you guys were okay. Make sure you guys were living, you guys were breathing, you guys had something. But it was also like, I didn't have to go through that.
No.
I could have just lived my life at home, which, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was better than a dope house, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my sister looked at me, and she was like, why didn't you ever tell me that? I told her, because there was no point to. I did this out of the love of my heart. I didn't do it to be this big shiny armor guy that's brother, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I think too, like, there's a time and place for healing in words. You can say something to somebody, and what you think how it's gonna feel for them is gonna be completely opposite, because wherever they're at in life, they're not ready to receive that information. So,
and I feel like at that moment in time, we were sitting down, and she was ready for it. You know what I mean? Like, she was
awesome.
She was ready to be told it. And again, we had a great 2-hour conversation. We talked about boundaries. We talked about childhood. We talked about where we've been. We talked about, you know, what have I been up to?
Basically, you hit the gap.
Everything.
You filled it out. And it feels so good to do that with family, because what you don't realize is we're all building our own families, our small families. And we're so focused on building our families that we forget that our extended family is out there. And every once in a while, I do the same thing. I'll call a family member and we talk, and we just catch up. And I just never want it to be a dramatic conversation. I always want it to be positive and, hey, how's everyone doing? What's going on? I don't care who's divorced, who's going through it. I don't care who's working at where. I don't care who's making what. All I want to know is, are you guys good? Is everything going well? Me and my little family.
What's positive?
We're thriving. And most of them, oh yeah, I see your Instagram. Well, Instagram can be deceiving. Instagram is going to show you and tell you what you want it to see.
It's the highlight.
I'm better off in real life. Instagram is cool, but I'm way better, and I have way more followers in real life than I do on social media. So social media it'll make everybody think that life is perfect, and we all know it's not, but we still look at those stories and we think, well, I'm having a bad day, and this guy's posting his new watch today. Must be nice, right?
I've been there.
Must be nice.
This guy's on the third vacation.
The guy goes to Disneyland every other weekend. They don't understand that I'm walking 15 miles a day, and it's not a bad thing, but it's a fun trip. But we make our trips like my wife's like a Disney lieutenant. She said, "Get up, we gotta go." I'm like, can we eat? She's like, maybe next time. I'm like, all right. So no, it's
a 2-minute window to eat.
So sorry, back to the conversation. How does that relationship, in summary, how does it look like these days, now that you're in a spiritual place, your family's in a better situation, you're not relying on the world, you're more relying on God to lead your family? How do those relationships with your sisters and your mom, how is it now? If someone out there is struggling to connect with their family, what would you tell them?
What I would tell them?
Advise them, I guess.
Man, basically just pray on it first and the most thing.
Amen.
pray on it. If it's something you really want, pray on it. But you can say all the prayers you want, but if you don't put water into that seed, it's not going to matter. Put down your ego, put down everything you've gone through, and reach out. Now, I mean, obviously you kind of got to test the waters, see if they're even in that headspace to even receive whatever you're trying to give out. I think that's the biggest thing as well. When it comes to my sisters, they were all in a great headspace. Now, again, I am so proud of my 3 little sisters. They are all thriving. They're all doing great things in life. None of them are, running the streets. I mean, maybe downtown on a Friday, but they're young, But, they're not being crazy. You know what I mean? Like, we have lived the total opposite life of what my mom had. And we had this conversation where I told him, I'm proud of you guys. Like, because it's easy to pick that side.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy not to have responsibilities. You know what I mean? Like, but all 4 of us, how amazing is that all 4 of us have chosen the right path?
I love it.
And they go to church. And the funny thing is, I'm talking to my sister, and she's like, yeah, we go to Sagebrush. And I'm like, oh, dang, I do too. And I was like, well, what time do you guys go to? So I make sure I don't run into because at the same time, like, me and my 2 other sisters weren't talking yet, and I didn't want to overstep. So I was like, well, what's time?
It wasn't at the time.
Exactly.
At the time and place. Well,
and then, one conversation led to another sister coming by, and then, another one. And then she was like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm getting baptized, which was like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, well, I already knew, and I was going to be there regardless. Like, to see you get baptized. Knew. Yeah, like, regardless if we're on a talking basis or not, I'm going to be there because, like, it's a big step.
I remember we saw her get baptized, and me and Vanessa, my wife, were like, which one is she? Which one is she? And she showed us, and we clapped so hard, like we knew her. But I think what it was is we know when you get baptized and you take that moment to wipe away your sins, we're like, man, we're so excited for you.
So she actually, they did an altar call, and she went, and her dad, who's my mom's husband, he went down, and he was like, will you go with me? So she went. She said, I've gone down plenty of times, but I'll go. And so when they filled out the form, whatever, and I guess they kept trying to call him, and he wouldn't answer. He's not in the right space as well. But my sister went through everything. She said, this was just my moment.
Love it.
And they called her, said, hey, your father you went down with wasn't able to go, or he hasn't picked up the phone. And she said, you know what? That's on him. That's not on me. And so I was like, well, that right there showed me you are really ready. Yeah. You didn't say, well, if he does it, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And I mean, you said, no, this is on me. I told her, you're owning your future. She actually got back into counseling.
Good.
I mean, and I was talking to my other 2 sisters about counseling. She's sitting there, you need to get back into counseling. And which, again, as a younger sister, she's, doing the right things. Yeah. Well, working 2 jobs, like.
I think even speaking on baptism, the person, like, I want everyone around me to get baptized. And they said, well, I already got baptized. Well, I know the sins you've been doing, so let's get rebaptized if it's appropriate. Yeah. So for me, I'm always influencing people around me to get baptized. One, I know what it did for me. I know how it's changed my life. But I also understand that it's all about the timing of that person. Like, I can tell you all day, Josh, get baptized. You and your wife get baptized. But I want you to come to me, hey, man, I'm finally ready to get baptized. And when you do, and when anyone out there that I've encouraged to get baptized makes that choice, I will be there. Me, my wife, my kids will be there cheering you guys on because we understand how important it is to have Jesus in your life. So
no, for sure. And that's kind of where my stance was on it for a while. I was like, well, I was already baptized as a Catholic, but like as I'm getting deeper into my faith and as I'm, really starting to learn, and I'm like, well, maybe it's just time for, I don't want to say a new beginning because I feel like I've lived a new beginning, but I think it's really time to just truly live within myself, my true self.
I think it's time to, the way you've lived isn't bad, but it's time to take the next step.
100%.
With your faith as the foundation.
As a father, as my faith. It's totally different. I mean, just everything, right? Like a father, faith, husband, brother, friend, you know what I mean? Like, I really think it's just time to take that step forward, and it's actually something me and my wife have been talking about it. So, good. But I've learned not to talk about things until they're set in stone. That's just.
I'll keep pressuring you until you decide to do it. So
I know.
the next section, I want to go into growth and getting your life on track. This will be something that I think both of us can answer, but we're going to discuss what life looks like now, work, family, mindset, habits. What's the biggest difference between who you were then and who you are now? We'll say before Christ, because I think that's what I want to know. I want to know you before Christ, and I want to know you now that.
Let's do this in segments.
Okay.
So who was I as pre argument with my mom? I was someone that was angry. I was someone who felt like the world owed me something because I had a rough childhood. I was probably angry at God because I said, how can you put me through this? And my life's not where I want it to be. And I feel like a lot of people are like that. I feel a lot of people are going through something like that, where they're angry because prayers aren't getting answered because of this, and this. But are you praying with intentions for your own good? Or are you praying for intentions of how can God work through you to benefit other people? And I feel like that's where my life has changed. So that's where I was argument with my mom.
Gosh.
I felt like the world owed me something.
I mean, don't you think even after the argument, up until let's say the last 5 years, don't you think that you've still in some ways felt that the world, you come out with the No Love Lost, you have a phenomenal clothing brand. I love the shirts, but in your head, you probably thought that, well, I'm doing this with a good intention. I'm putting this content out, but still people aren't buying like they should. I expected people to buy more. I expected more support. Would you agree that you still felt that way prior to?
Kind of, yeah. So now the way No Love Lost came was I had my counselor. She told me just to start writing, like write every day. And I said, well, I don't know what to write about. I never just wrote, like, I've never had a journal as a kid, And she said, just scribble and words will start to come days and days. And so, probably day 7, words finally started coming. Started writing letters to myself, writing letters to my mom, writing letters to my dad, writing letters to my spouse. And at the bottom, what I noticed was I wrote No Love Lost on the bottom of each letter.
Sick.
And until I started talking about my story and I was comfortable with, because I mean, no one's going to wake up and be like, hi, my name is Josh, a kid, and my mom is a heroin addict, and you know what I mean? This
I was on a milk carton.
Yeah.
That's not.
But as I start to tell people my story, everyone's like, dang, I had the same childhood, or hey, you know what I mean? Like,
I've been through it.
I gone through something like that. And so that's what inspired No Love Lost, where it was like, if people could just wear their pain and learn where they come from and grow something great into it. So No Love Lost was meant to put my pain into a story, was to make something positive, right? Now, I didn't expect it to be what it is today. Now, kind of where I'm at, yeah, that was kind of probably the thing. Like, it didn't become just fun no more. It became, well, I have to do this because you know what I mean? Like, I have a story, I have this, I have that. Like, okay, I have to be a father, I have to be this. And so it definitely did come like, well, I'm doing all the right things. Why is this not working?
Yeah.
So definitely, I definitely felt that with No Love Lost. Now I'm learning to get back into the story again. And why I did it was to have fun.
I think off script, I have a question with the No Love Lost. So I understand how it was founded. I see where you came up with the name, and it's almost like counseling, the things that happen, the counseling, No Love Lost came, and now that's your identity of that. But going forward, well, now you have a clean slate. You have No Love Lost still, but all the trauma and all the things that you've kind of overcome, maybe they're not as heavy anymore. Maybe the childhood stuff, you can't continue to hang on to that,
No.
2025 or 2026 and going forward. So how can No Love Lost now have a transformation of a name without changing the words? I want to know about that. And if you've thought about it.
No, I definitely have. Probably this last year, actually probably a year to like almost the date. I got back into counseling and I really like learned how to stop controlling everything. You can't control life. So that was my biggest issue with the brand, is I was trying to control everything. I was trying to do this, trying to do that, And so now it's like, I want to transform it. And I feel like the podcast is really giving me that. Get back into my story, get back into your story, get me into a creative space to where it's fun again.
Yeah.
And not where it's like, well, I have to do these numbers.
People expect me to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get back into the story. Let's get back into it being relatable for people. You know, I felt like I got away from that. It was every brand is relatable. That's why people wear a brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, other than once it blows up, then everyone wears it.
It's trendy.
Cool,
yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the very beginning, when you have your core foundation of 1GM, of No Love Lost, of Nike, of Hellstar,
yeah,
there was a reason why everyone did, and it's because of the story.
Yeah.
So I really want to get back into that. And then again, it's not because I don't care about the money no more. Money's going to come. And I felt like that's what it evolved into.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to be this. I have to be that. I just want to get back into it being fun, telling a story, creating, but also inspiring people to change their life and to leave back everything you've ever gone through. Now, just because you've gone through it and you love it, you also have to learn to choose yourself.
Yes.
And that's why there's no love lost. You have to move forward.
Yeah.
You can still love everything, but I got to love me first. Or I got to love you from a distance because you're not good for me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right?
I look at the name. Well, I remember when you told me about it, and then I looked at it. I thought about it earlier, and I was like, no love lost. Okay, it carries a story. It carries a journey. It carries some trauma, some childhood moments. But now I don't feel that from you. I don't see that from you. I don't even want to understand that part of your life because I want a different version of Josh to be revealed to the world. So for me, you know what no love lost means? It means no love left behind. It means we're no longer going to lose the love that we can pour into to God, into our community, into our family, into people. I want it to, when I wear the new shirts, no love lost because there's no love left behind. I don't want people to feel lost. I want people to know that there's a place for them. Any church, any location, any whatever it is they choose. Not just our church, but no love left behind, no love lost. We have a certain amount of time in the day. I don't know my time on this earth, but there's a clock that's expiring and I don't know the time.
Yeah.
I don't want that time lost. I don't want any love lost. No love lost. And that's my new generation version of what that means to me. And just like the 1GM brand, I don't know how many people know, but 1GM was created about 7 years ago. I was vision boarding, goal setting. 1GM meant for first generation millionaire because I said, if I put it out there on social media and on my Instagram handle, I'm saying I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to make money. And it's 1GM because I want to be rich. Well, it's changed. It's 1GM, one godly man, first gen. Now it's still the generational, but we're not talking money. Now we're talking curse breaking, breaking bad habits, breaking infidelity traits, breaking, getting over death in the family, anything that in your life that has been brought to you because your parents and their grandparents, 1GM is for those people. That's where my brand changed.
You and I and a lot of us are already the richest people in the world. You want to know how?
I'm going to say our family.
Because we walk into our house. The kids were, we were on the phone yesterday.
Yeah.
And you heard my kids.
I did. I was like, well, I guess it's time to go.
Dad, I go home. I have a wife that truly loves me.
No.
Gives me a kid. Isn't just with me because I have money. Right. Or isn't because if everything falls, she's still going to be there.
Or your good looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those are far now. But, that makes you the richest person in the world. And I think that was the hardest thing for me to figure out was I'm already rich.
Yeah, I'm already rich.
You already are 1GM without the millionaire. You're one godly man now.
Which is crazy because I look at memories on my Facebook and Instagram and it's like 1GM. I was like, I had no idea what I even meant. I mean, I knew it was just very one direction. I was thinking of being a millionaire and then also do all the sinning that I was doing in my life. So now that we're living it and we're doing it even with our new merch, like I want anybody and everybody to rock our brand because even if you're another roofer or construction, I'm not talking about that. You're a generational breaker. It stops with you and you're the person, male or female, that says from this moment on, I will not continue to allow this to continue. Enough is enough. No more love lost. No more love lost for us. So That's cool. That's a great segment on that.
So now, you heard my story in detail. I'm sure things a lot of people didn't know. Everyone's like,
I did it.
where's No Love Lost? Bitter guy, he's mad. No.
I'm pumped that I met a milk carton kid. To be honest, I'm pumped.
I wish someone would have saved that milk carton.
I'd make it a t-shirt.
I think that's just something that, one of very few people are on. But let's get into our next segment. Usually we do the substance cards. Today we're going to switch it up a little bit. Again, this podcast isn't about being bland and just being repetitive. It's about being raw. So we're going to switch it up on Rob. We're going to switch it up on me. And we're going to switch it up on you guys. So we're going to get into a Bible verse. First one is Romans 12, verse 2. Do not conform to the pattern of this word, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is. He is good, pleasing, and perfect will. What does that mean to you?
I'm going to read it over one more time. I think I always got to reflect a second time. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, transformed by renewing your mind. I think we like to take control of our life when things are good. We as humans like to try to think that we have the knowledge of how our life's going to turn out. We think we know how old we're going to be when we die. And the moment you rely on yourself and the moment you rely on the human or the self being to determine the outcome is always when things go wrong. Anytime I've ever dealt with adversity or failures, it's because I'm banking on my work ethic and my consistency to provide for me when I know that God is the reason why I do things, and God is the reason that He's going to give me only as much as I can handle. When I bring people in to our business, I'm never worried about the success of them. What I'm worried about is when they become successful, are they going to change? I've understood in my own wrongdoings.
You lived it.
To stay obedient because I lived it. I had to understand to stay obedient to God's word. And regardless if I had 20 jobs or no jobs this week, I'm going to remain obedient to the Lord.
100%. I think for me, when it says do not conform to the pattern of the world, I believe when I think of the world, I think of what is in front of you, right? The childhood trauma, everything you went through in life. Don't conform into that. Don't allow that to be your surrounding. Change. You break that curse. You push the boundary and He will bless you, but you have to put in the work. I think that's been the biggest thing is you put in the work, He will bless you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But again, are you doing it for yourself selfishly? Or are you doing it for Him and also allowing Him to live through Himself through, you know what I mean?
No. And what happens if you put in the work? What happens if you put in the work, you're obedient, you're loyal, you're doing the right things, and God doesn't just say, okay, here you go. Here's all your bills paid. Here's a happy relationship. That's where I think it's hard because we're like, if we just do this for 3 months, we kick back. God will give back.
It's on your timing. It's on His timing.
It's not.
And I'm going to say unfortunately, right? Because that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
But if you continue to do the right thing, you continue to put in the work.
Right.
I'm not saying it's going to be tomorrow.
No.
It may be 6 months.
Maybe 10 years.
It may be 10 years. It may be 20 years. But you stay down, mm-hmm. He will help you mm-hmm. one way or another, whether even that's just living without any disease or, you know what I mean? Like that's still winning in life.
Yeah. I just think people give up when they're doing wrong, they know what they're doing wrong, and they know if they change it around and they do right, things will get better. So their life will be better. God will come in, take over. Yes. But because you're doing good and you turn it around doesn't mean He owes you anything. Mm. So I think that's where it's hard. The podcast, we talked about it for 6 months. Hey man, when are we going to do it? Where are we going to do it? Who's going to do it? It's easy to talk about it. It's another thing to stay obedient and then it works out. And now we're filming every week. So mm-hmm. Small example. I'm going to read the next one. This is Isaiah 43, verse 18 through 19. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. You're up first because I got to reread it.
I think for me, I think that goes to, really no love lost. Like, forget everything you've gone through. And you'll never be able to forget them. But one other gem my dad always taught me was forgive but never forget. So still know what happened, right? You've learned to move forward. You've learned to move on. That doesn't define you as a person. Now you will always be onto something new once you've learned to really let go and to heal. You'll be able to create something for yourself for the future generations because you're not holding on to that grudge. You're not holding on to that animosity. That's what I think.
I love it. I think for me, forget the former things. To me, that's sin. Forget my past sin. Do not dwell on the past. I'm not going to sit here and live in my sin and make that the reason that I keep dwelling on it. I already know what I've been forgiven for. See that I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness, streams in the wasteland. I see that as a journey of, if I'm driving in a car, I have my side mirrors, my rear view mirror, and my windshield. Do we drive and look out the mirror the entire time? Do we drive and just stare at the rear view mirrors? No, we look at the windshield because we want to know the destination we're headed, not where we've come from. I don't care about the past anymore. I don't have any of these things that I'm hanging on to that I need to heal from, that God is healing. He's healing me from everything that I've ever done wrong. And he says, Rob, I gave you my only son. He was sacrificed for your sin. And the way I see that, stop messing it up. Now go live the life that I want for you. And this is what I'm doing. So I see everything as I'm going to move forward. I'm not going to dwell on the past. I'm not going to let it determine my future or be my identity. There I go.
Well, there's a reason why the windshield's bigger than the rearview mirror.
Good point. I thought about knocking mine down. I'm like, I might need it at some point. So let's not do
It's
well, the camera doesn't stay on as you're driving unless you manually do it. And if you're crazy, if you're one of those crazy people that puts on your rear view camera and drives, I've just done it to see what it looks like and it makes me nauseous.
Wild.
Yeah. So there's a reason when you're in reverse, it pops up. When you're in drive, and no cameras like that. I definitely want to give you my appreciation for opening up your story. I felt like I knew some of it, but a lot of it didn't make sense to me. And I kind of patched it together and pieced it together, but hearing everything as a whole is amazing. Like, you've come a long way from your childhood and dealing with all the things that you had to deal with. And I'm super proud of you for it. And I'm proud that you're able to put that out there for everybody to understand your life more and to be more relatable. So it's humbleness and it was great to hear. So
it's definitely humble to talk about it. And I think if I take away anything from this, if I have something to say to just one person, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter the way you grew up. You are your own person. You can change, but it takes you. No one else is going to save you but you. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the time. Now, when you go to counseling, you go to church, it's not easy. It's something I wish someone told me. It gets way harder before it gets easier.
Yeah.
Because you ask for blessings. You ask, you start peeling back the onion in your trauma. That's whenever everything really comes out. That's when you really get tested of this is really what you want. So stay focused, view the bigger picture, and just continue on. And I promise you, everything will work out if you put in the work.
Absolutely. I want to take a second just to thank everybody that has reached out to us, whether it's comments, private messages, phone calls. I've had some phenomenal testimonies of people just saying, man, I needed that. I thought I knew God, but who am I fooling? Grown men crying in their garages listening to the podcast because they realize that they need a change, and the change starts now. So in 2 episodes, in the first episode, it's already done more than we ever wanted it to. This is exactly the platform and the reason we're doing it. So we've already become successful in this. If we impact one life or 1 million lives, It doesn't matter about followers, reposts, anything like that. All I ask is that you listen to this podcast, and when you're done, you change one thing about your life that you're doing wrong. Whatever that is up to you. We are going to be bringing in some guests to talk about their chosen to change moment. If you feel like you have a chosen to change moment and you want to share with everybody and be super vulnerable about it, we would love to have you. Reach out to Josh, myself, leave a comment. Thank you guys again for another episode.
That's it. We are chosen to change. So are you. Choose your moment.
See you next week.